With the release of No Compromise, No Surrender, Hearts of Iron 4's naval system has changed. Gone are the days of death stacks and naval supremacy, now replaced with a system that supports balanced fleets and hidden intricacies such as spotting. Here is my guide on the basics of Navy. In No Compromise, No Surrender there are 3 main naval missions: Patrol, Strike Force and Convoy Raiding. These are all important in gaining naval dominance. Patrol is perhaps the most important, and without it you will not gain naval dominance, as Patrol is the only thing that adds dominance to that sea region. These ships are on constant patrol, trying to spot the enemy fleet before they spot you, and as a result, they will eat a lot of fuel. The best patrol group is sticking to the golden ratio of Hoi 4 Navy: 1 capital ship to 4 light cruisers, or 1 capital ship to 6 destroyers. If you're unsure of how much dominance they give you, you can look to the right hand side of the template on the ships and see how they give individually, or you can look at the fleet altogether. Strike Force's goal is to multiply the effect of the other 2 missions, increasing naval dominance for patrol and decreasing it for convoy raiding. Think of it as reinforcements that will stay in dock until battle commences. 1 fleet on Strike Force can be positioned in multiple sea regions within range. The only downside is the fleet's speed, how slow it is to intercept. And if there's multiple battles in multiple sea regions, you can only intercept 1. Remember to stick to the golden ratio, such as having 4 capital ships to 24 screeds. Last but not least is convoy raiding, and here is where your submarines shine. Its purpose is to subtract from the enemy naval dominance in that sea region, sometimes giving you that little boost that grants you the naval dominance in that sea tile. These submarines will engage enemy convoys, usually sinking them before the enemy fleet comes to help. If the enemy fleet does intercept you, the Strike Force should come in and defend your ships. I recommend setting up wolf packs of 10 submarines. If you set it up like this and have submarines in construction, whenever a submarine is sunk in battle, another one should take its place. When a battle does commence, you can look at this screen. It's not really important, but understanding how the fleet works in battle is vital. The first line is the screens, which are destroyers and light cruisers. They deal light attack and will prioritise the other screens. The second line is for capital ships, such as battleships, battle cruisers and heavy cruisers. These ships deal heavy attack and will mainly attack over the screens and against the other capital ships. Carriers act on the back line, relying on your main fleet to protect them. If your fleet is sunk, your carriers will be vulnerable. Carriers send planes, either fighters, naval bombers or air support, to intercept the enemy's own planes. If the enemy has no planes, then your planes have free reign. Submarines can be found underwater, where the enemy will use sonar to try and find them. Torpedoes, usually found on screens or submarines, will target the nearest enemy wave with a very slim chance of a critical hit. The best way to deal with submarines is by adding depth charges to your screens, or having other submarines to find them. On either side of the naval battle screen, you can see if the fleet is disengaging or more ships are coming to intercept. And underneath, you can find the ships sunk mid-battle. You can also see the ships sunk on the battle results screen, which stays as a notification. A carrier without planes is just a pile of junk. Fleets that contain carriers will have a little airbase icon above it, allowing you to deploy planes on that carrier. These work in teams of 10 planes, the hangar space determining how many planes can be deployed on a given ship. I personally recommend having 1/3 fighters and 2/3 naval bombers. If you press select on the fleet and move it to a certain position in the sea, you can use the planes on land, helping in the air war. This is my carrier naval bomber design, relying on simplicity to get the job done, as well as a small production cost. Second is my main naval bomber design, suitable in most theatres of war and using a small airframe that you should already have researched. Only in the Pacific do I use this medium frame heavy fighter, which actually works best as a naval bomber, but only on its certain missions. By deploying 1 unit of naval bombers on naval patrol, you can help the fleets and planes spot other enemy ships. Other tips for spotting is researching and deploying radar, getting the Naval Department spy upgrade, decryption, and utilising the following ship modules: seaplane tenders, floatplane catapults, radar ship module, and, for detecting submarines, hydrophones. Headquarters are an area of effect building that grants small bonuses to nearby fleets. By equipping an admiral in the headquarter, their skills are added on top of the fleet's own skills, as well as a small bonus to spotting speed, organisation, and others. Home bases are where the navy is situated when in dock, whether it be on idle strike force or if they're being repaired or refitted. This could be useful for docks that are out of range of enemy bombers, or if a certain dock has more bases for faster repair. You can change the home bases by clicking on them. If you want to ignore this feature altogether, you can click the little cogwheel to be yellow, and it will automatically move to the nearest home base. Tired of your main ships going after submarines? You can now press this button and set which ships to engage. Furthermore, you can use this button to determine at what risk level you want your fleets to engage the enemy, whether it be for purely spotting or going full throttle. Finally, you can choose the priority of ship repairs in the button to the left of it. Naval dominance is unlike naval supremacy and instead builds over time. This usually takes 60 days to reach full effect. You switch your strike force fleet to Naval Invasion support to grant a bonus to the landing. You can also press select and move the ships near the beaches to grant your land troops the shore bombardment bonus, which can just get that little boost to pushing. If you are a small nation that relies on importing materials, you can also use destroyers with depth charges on the mission Convoy Escort. These will protect your convoys from enemy fleets and especially enemy submarines. I recommend 5+ task forces of 5 destroyers. Bear in mind, both Convoy Escort and Naval Invasion support do not add sea dominance. If you want to prevent your convoys from entering a certain sea region, you can select that tile and use the 3 buttons at the bottom to change the accessibility, whether it be allowed, try to avoid, or no entry. This is useful in preventing your convoys from barreling through the contested English Channel. Easily overlooked, the naval special projects have some great uses. Specifically, the Proximity Fuse project unlocks extra research slots for anti-air that grants a whopping 20% soft attack bonus. Alternatively, researching ionic tiles makes submarines harder to spot, while underwater replenishment can help you cross the Pacific. With the new Doctrine system, there are many important sub-doctrines, and there is a lot to go over. My personal favourites are Wolfpack for submarines, Integrated Operations for screens, Floating Airfields or Light Task Forces for carriers, and Line of Battle or Fast Battleships for capital ships. Refitting is a very situational and quite expensive procedure. It's only really useful if you're upgrading fire control module, or if you're adding guns to empty slots. Otherwise, don't bother. Here are just a few of the templates I use. For more, you can see the Steam guide in the description below, that was written by Vazax and myself. This was just a brief overview of Navy, but I hope it's given you enough to start wrecking the seas. Good luck, Admirals.